Hey guys, how's it going? Lewis Hardigan this here and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be analysing Polymetal stock using fundamental analysis. I'll be then using a DCF valuation to determine the fair value of their stock. Let's get straight into it. So, who are Polymetal? So Polymetal International plc is an Anglo-Russian precious metals mining company registered in Jersey, but it is listed on the London Stock Exchange and the Moscow Exchange, and it is a constituent of the FTSE 100 index. Polymetal Group of Companies was founded in 1998 in St. Petersburg, Russia, and since then it has built a portfolio of gold and silver mines in Russia, Kazakhstan and Armenia. Fun fact, Polymetal International became one of the first two Russian-originated companies to be included in the FTSE 100 index. So let's have a look at the sales breakdown for Polymetal. So the sales per business, it's broken down into 4 different regions. So Ural, Magadan, Kazakhstan, and I can't pronounce that third one unfortunately. But the top 3 make up the majority of the sales. But then sales per region, 42% come from the Russian Federation, 33% from Kazakhstan, 19% from East Asia, and then a small 6% from Europe. So the majority comes from Russia and Kazakhstan. Now let's have a look at the income statement for Polymetal, and all of this financial data has come from macro trends and it is in US dollars. So the top line revenue, let's have a look at that. So from 2016 to 2020, it's seen a nice steadily increase year on year, which is fantastic. Bear in mind that 2020 has been a fantastic year for commodity businesses, especially mining companies, so that's probably why the sales are a lot higher than 2019, so from 2020 to 2019, quite a decent increase once again. But yeah, really good to see that trend going up, which is what you really want to see in a business. Net income as well, so yeah, fantastic stuff. It's going up year on year, no complaints. So yeah, on to the next section. Now onto the balance sheet, and let's have a look at the long-term debt situation. So from 2016 to 2020, it has increased slightly. So yeah, from 2016 to 2018 it increased by quite a bit, but then since 2018 it's been decreasing, which is a good sign. Interesting to see that they are taking on a little bit of debt, even though it seems to be showing that they're growing and full of profit. So yeah, something to look into for sure. How come we have a decent amount of debt, to be fair, for the company size. But yeah, on to the next bit. So returned earnings, so the accumulated profits over time. Lovely stuff. Increasing year on year. This shows over a long period of time they can, show profits, and that's what shows in the returned earnings. So lovely stuff. Now onto the cash flow statement, and let's have a look at the cash flow from operating activities. So from 2016 to 2020, we've seen a lovely increase year on year. Yeah, great stuff. The net change in PPE, so that's CapEx and capital expenditure, that's increasing. Well, that's alongside the operations increasing, but this shows that free cash flow is increasing year on year, which is really, really good to see. And yeah, so common stock dividends paid. I like to look at the cash flow statement to see if the dividends are increasing year on year, and yeah, indeed they are. So yeah, great to see dividends increasing over time because they have a really, really big impact on your returns. Now on to the key financial ratios, and let's have a quick glance over these. So the current ratio is a very solid figure. I usually like to look above 1, so yeah, no complaints there. Long-term debt to capital, a little bit bigger than some of its mining rivals potentially, but if it's manageable then it is what it is, I guess. Gross margins are solid, net margins are solid as well, and then having a look at return on equity, also very, very good. So yeah, it's looking good across the board. Yeah, great stuff. Now let's have a look at the genuine impact rankings, and it scores really, really well in the quality and value scores, which is no real surprise based on the metrics we've just seen. So yeah, it's got the highest score on the quality metric, and having a look at the quality stats, so the profitability compared to other companies is very high, capital allocation is very sound, but unfortunately the financial strength isn't quite there, and that probably relates to the amount of debt they've got, the long-term debt, and that's probably making that ranking a bit worse than some other companies. And then onto the value, it's looking cheap based on the value metrics, which as a value investor myself, something I really, really do love to see. Then yeah, the income statement, it's looking cheap, balance sheet expensive relating to the debt, and then from a cash flow perspective, it's looking very, very cheap. So really interesting stuff. But if you look in the bottom left hand corner, I've put down the growth metrics, because growth is a very important factor in all types of investing, and it's ranking very, very high on this metric. So based on last year's figures, we've had a really good year, of course, but yeah, really interesting to see. Revenue, all the metrics there are scoring very high, so yeah, something to look out for sure. Now let's have a look at my analysis checklist for Polymetal International, and let's start with it's listed in the UK, market cap of £6.6 billion, a current market price of £13.92, and yeah, a solid P ratio of 8 and an earnings yield of 12%. So yeah, this is what did interest me doing analysis on this stock in the first place. Yeah, having a look at the profitability side of the business, so like we've seen before, the gross and net margins are fantastic, smash my expectations in terms of what I'm looking for in a business, as well as the return on equity. And then the overall debt position, yeah, to me it's pretty good. A lot of liquidity in the business with a high current ratio. Long-term debt to equity ratio is probably a little bit high for a mining business, but hey ho, you can't have everything, can you? Proven ability to grow, like we've seen in the genuine impact growth metrics, it just shows in the figures here. So revenue growth, net income growth, shareholder equity growth and free cash flow growth. Winner chicken dinner. Great capital allocation. Well, this is somewhere I have a little bit of a problem with Polymetal, to be honest. So long-term debt's going up, the share count has increased in a 5-year period, and I don't think they've had any decent acquisitions. I think they've issued shares and issued debt to pay for an acquisition, which I don't think it's really shown in the numbers yet. Could be wrong, the 2020 numbers might reflect that acquisition, for example, but I think that's more to do with commodities booming and the gold and silver prices doing better than previous years pretty much. But then yeah, buy at a fair price. So yeah, what attracted me with this stock in the first place is it's looking very cheap on an earnings and free cash flow basis. And then yeah, for a 10% return using my DCF valuation, I come out with a share price at about £15. So yeah, not too far away from the current share price, but yeah, it's looking interesting. But let's have a look at my DCF and see how we got to that figure of £15 per share. Now let's have a look at my discounted free cash flow valuation for Polymetal, and I've taken my free cash flow estimates from Market Screener. They have analyst estimates on there. They've all been converted from US dollars to British pounds, and yeah, with a discount rate of 10%, we're looking at a share price of £15 per share. So from the current share price, it's looking like a decent deal. Obviously got to do your own research into it, but yeah, hopefully this gives you a few pointers in the right direction when doing your own research into this stock. So what are my thoughts on Polymetal International? Well, clearly from the numbers, it's looking like it's undervalued at the minute, especially on a cash flow basis and even on an earnings basis as well. It had a really good year in 2020, so you've got to take that into account when looking into numbers yourself. Commodity prices will probably settle at some point, most likely. But yeah, if you're looking for a 10% return, you're looking for a company in the mining sector, even more specifically the gold and silver mining sector, then yeah, Polymetal might be the stock for you. But as always, please do your own research, don't just listen to me. I just make these videos for your education, and if you're interested about a stock, it might give you a few ideas. But yeah, please do your own research and have a look into the numbers yourself. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. As always, it would be amazing if you could like, comment and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. However, you can check out some of these videos.